Hey, music fans, and welcome back to SoundLab Studios. We are continuing today through my top favorite 100 albums, and we are picking up right where we left off at number, which one is it? Number 90. Number 90. We're going through the 80s today, and funny enough, we're going to have three albums by the same artist on this list. Here's Nick. How's it going? Yeah, I didn't really think about it this way, but there are, in this particular section of the list, three albums by the same artist. So we'll get to those in just a second. I'm going to start off with number 90. And just a quick little recap. Once again, this is my list. I'm not claiming these are the 100 greatest albums ever made. This is just personal taste. And second of all, I'm going to try to give my favorite song on each of these albums. So let's go ahead and get back into it. Number 90 is going to be this album right here. This is Genesis by Genesis. And if you've been watching my Genesis series on this channel, you know how big of a fan I am of Genesis, both with Peter Gabriel and with Phil Collins. This is one of the Phil Collins albums. This is kind of in the mid-80s, or early to mid-80s, 1983. Phil Collins has been the lead singer for a while now. It's the three-piece trio, and they're going kind of for a different direction on this album, kind of leaving progressive rock behind, going for a more commercial sound, which doesn't necessarily make this album bad. Some people will say that the commercial sound is going to make this a lot worse, especially with Phil Collins' solo career, kind of the sound of that creeping in, but I don't know. I still really like this album. It's in my top 100 favorite albums. I'm going to be doing a review of this album very soon, so I'm going to leave my thoughts brief so that you can watch the review on that. But I like Mama, That's All, Home by the Sea, pretty much a perfect first side. Illegal Alien, yeah, it's goofy, but it's fun. Taking It All Too Hard, I love that song. Just a Job to Do. Silver Rainbow, and It's Going to Get Better. Yeah, just really great album from Genesis here. We're going to see a lot more from them later on. And we're going to get to 89, number 89, and that is Let's Dance by David Bowie. And here's the back cover. Oh, here's Nick. Nick is listening to the White Album. Says there's some of the best songs ever and some of the worst songs ever. Revolution number 9 is pretty bad. But number 89, Let's Dance by David Bowie. Kind of in the same vein as that Genesis album. A lot of people don't like this album because it's more commercial, but I think it's really great. You've got Stevie Ray Vaughan on the guitar. Nile Rodgers was the producer. He had worked with like some funk bands before. Really great production, really catchy songwriting. If this is selling out, then take my money already because it's a great album. So you start out with Modern Love, which is a really cool song. I love the saxophone on there. China Girl, another really great song. Title track, Let's Dance, features a really cool guitar solo from Stevie Ray Vaughan. I love the horns and just the funky vibe of it. It doesn't have the track listing on the back, so I'm gonna have to look at the record. Yeah, Without You apparently was a single, but it's one of my least favorite songs on the album. I don't know why that was chosen as a single when there are some other songs on here that I like a lot better. Like Ricochet, that's a great song. Criminal World. Cat People, a.k.a. Putting Out Fire with Gasoline. That should have been the other single. That's great. I know it was a B-side, but that's like my fourth favorite song on here, and then ends with Shake It. Yeah, this album might not be breaking any new territory musically, but like it's just good songs. So it's on my list. I just love the fun vibe of this album. And going from Bowie's most commercially accessible material to some of his least commercially accessible material, number 88, we have Low. Yeah, this is the exact opposite of Let's Dance there. This is more of an artistic piece rather than a catchy pop record. It was the first of his 3 albums recorded in Berlin when he was trying to detox from his coke addiction. Very experimental stuff on this album. The first half is more the experimental songs, and the second half is like this ambient instrumental stuff, which makes for a really interesting album. Once again, the back is just blank and it's orange, so I'm gonna have to look at the record for the track listing. Be careful with this, I don't want to scratch it. And he's collaborated with another musician, Brian Eno, on this album, another famous musician. Speed of Life, really interesting way to start the album. That album has some new wave, or this song has like some new wave elements in it. And this came out in like 1977, so it's really ahead of its time. Breaking Glass, What in the World. Sound and Vision is amazing. I love that one. Be My Wife, New Career in a New Town. And then you flip it over and you get the ambient instrumental stuff. Warswaza, is that how you say that? Art Decade, Weeping Wall, and Subterraneans. So this album is not for the faint of heart, I'll say that. It's very artistic and experimental, but if you're into that kind of stuff, you're going to love this album. Next, we have the first appearance by the Beatles, or at least one of the Beatles, number 87. I'm going with Band on the Run by Paul McCartney. And yeah, this album is amazing. On the front, we got some famous people here for the Band on the Run. Band on the Run, the title song is like Paul McCartney's Bohemian Rhapsody. It's got several different sections. I love that. I love the beginning, the doo. I love the kind of second section. I love the third kind of main section of the song, the Band on the Run. Jet is another amazing song. Did I say my favorite songs from each of my other albums? I'm going to have to do that real quick. Genesis, I'm going to go with That's All. Let's Dance, I'm going to go with Let's Dance. Low, I'm going to go with Sound and Vision. And that brings us right here back to Band on the Run. So Band on the Run was at Bluebird. That's a very chill song. Mrs. Vanderbilt, that's another great song on here. Ho, hey ho, ho, hey ho. Let Me Roll It is sounds like a tribute to John Lennon almost. Pneumonia, that's a kind of a chill song. No Words. Helen Wheels, that's a really cool rockin' song. Picasso's Last Words. Drink to me, drink to my health. And then I think my favorite, either my favorite or my second favorite song on here. Yeah, no, it's my favorite. 1985. Man, the piano on that. It sounds it's very ahead of its time. Like, I could imagine that song coming out today. I like that piano riff. And his vocals are really good. And no one else was left alive in 1980. It's really good. Yeah, that's my favorite on this album. One of my favorite solo Beatles albums, Band on the Run. Number 87. Number 86, we got our first appearance of Queen with Queen 2. I'm going to catch up with the comments real quick before I talk about Queen 2. Who thinks that Cat People should have been the closer side? Yeah. It's the B-side of Let's Dance. Okay, I knew it was the B-side of something. That was amazing. Instrumental tracks. Oh yeah, the instrumental tracks are really cool, especially that first one. Yeah, Band on the Run. It's so good. Yeah, I'm surprised that Briar didn't show up whenever I'm talking about Queen, but we'll find out. Queen 2. Maybe it's when we get to Queen 3, because you have to say it 3 times. Oh, hey, look. There he is. Okay. Yep. Popping in for Queen. What number is this? 86. And then I'm going to go ahead and open the gatefold. It's kind of got this black and white kind of theme to it. The sides are called the black side and the white side. It's their second album. It's a lot more experimental than like some of their later stuff. They're a new band at this point, and they're trying to find their sound, so they're playing around with lots of different sounds. And man, it's such a cool album. Like, first off, you got the iconic cover shot, which they would later mimic in their Bohemian Rhapsody music video. Definitely my favorite of their first 3 records. But it starts off with Procession, which is this really foreboding instrumental. Father to Son is really cool. White Queen, great song by Brian May. Someday, oh wait, no, yeah. A lot of the White Side stuff is Brian May. Loser in the End was Roger Taylor, I think. Someday One Day is Brian May. That's really good. But really, the Black Side is where this album gets really good. It's the second side, and it's all written by Freddie Mercury. All this fantasy-inspired stuff. All the songs go right into each other. Kind of reminds me of the second side of Abbey Road, almost, where they're doing like this medley, except it's a lot more hard rock, a lot crazier. Ogre Battle starts with this reverse guitar, it's like, and it goes right into the guitar. There's like almost screaming there. Fairy Feller's Master Stroke, super manic. Nevermore, lovely piano ballad. March of the Black Queen, that's my favorite song on this album. It's like Bohemian Rhapsody, but was done before Bohemian Rhapsody. All these weird and amazing sections on there. Funny How Love Is, love that song as well. Good piano. And it ends with the Seven Seas of Rye, which is kind of their first hit. Still a very experimental song, but yeah. Great early Queen record. You're definitely going to be seeing more of them later on this list. Okay, we get to number 86. Or sorry, 85. 86 was Queen 2. Number 85, we got Mr. Bob Dylan here with Highway 61 Revisited. I haven't really been showing the record, but I'll show the record on this one. So it's like it's an early copy of it, and these are kind of hard to find. But yeah, this is my favorite Bob Dylan album. It's going to be the only Bob Dylan album on this list, but I had to put it on here just because it's very culturally important, as well as just the songwriting is very amazing. We start off with like a Rolling Stone, which, man, that's like one of his biggest songs. Tombstone Blues, really cool. This album at the time was kind of controversial because Bob Dylan before, it was just him, his guitar, and his harmonica. And then you get to Bringing It All Back Home, where half of that album was like that, and half of the album had a full electric band, which was already kind of controversial. But then this album comes out and it's all electric. So people were like, what, Bob Dylan doing electric? Like, he's a folk artist. What's he doing with electric guitar and a full band? But I think it really works. Takes a Lot to Laugh, Takes a Train to Cry, from a Buick 6. My favorite song on this album is Mr. Jones, a.k.a. The Ballad of the Thin Man. Love that song. It's amazing. Do you, Mr. Jones? Al Kooper played the organ on this album. He went on to have a really big musical career by himself. He was famously Leonard Skinner's producer. Queen Jane Approximately, Highway 61, Tom Thumb's Blues. And then you got the amazing album closer, Desolation Row. So, great album. If you like folk rock, and if you're into good lyrics, get this album. Great storytelling. Okay, that was number 85. We're going to number 84, which is our first appearance of the Rolling Stones in this list. We got Beggar's Banquet. There's the inside cover where they're at the banquet. This is best known for its singles Sympathy for the Devil and Street Fighting Man. Those are both great songs, but the whole album is amazing. No Expectations. When we reviewed this album, I said that was my favorite. I think it still might be my favorite. It's just a really chill song and some great slide guitar playing by Brian Jones. Dear Doctor is hilarious. It's Mick Jagger kind of doing funny voices. Jigsaw Puzzle, man. Jigsaw Puzzle is one of the best songs on this album as well. One of the great deep cuts that nobody really talks about from here. Street Fighting Man, that one's classic. Prodigal Son, really cool song. Stray Cat Blues, the music is good, the lyrics suck, so I skip that one sometimes. The album closer, Salt of the Earth, really amazing. This is kind of a more country-infused album than what they'd been doing before. So yeah, Rolling Stones, Beggar's Banquet, number 84. Okay, here he is again. Or before we get to the next one, let me catch up with. Said Queen 3 times. The Ebony side. Yeah, going in with Paul McCartney theme, and the Ivory side is an underrated side. Yeah, arguably the most important album in music history. It's kind of where people started looking at that album and saying, "Hey, maybe the album as a whole is an important art form." Yeah, Jigsaw Puzzle is one of my favorites, but number 83, here he is again. For the third time on this list, David Bowie with Aladdin Sane. First off, the album cover is iconic with this lightning bolt makeup. This is kind of his glam rock period. I have some more of his albums up even further than this. He's got a lot of albums on this list. But Watch That Man, really cool. He kind of describes this album as his previous album, Ziggy Stardust, but kind of adapted for the sounds of America rather than England. Aladdin Sane, the title track. Really great piano on that song. Really crazy piano. Drive-In Saturday is great. Panic in Detroit. Time, that one's great. I'm kind of have mixed feelings on his cover of Let's Spend the Night Together by the Rolling Stones. Like, I get what he's going for and it works with the style, but it's like, I don't know. It's still, I don't like it as much. It does sound a lot better on the record, though. And then, of course, this album is most famous for Jean Genie, which is one of his best songs. Very bluesy. Really cool song. Great guitar solo. Yeah, so Aladdin Sane, David Bowie, number 83. That's the last time he's going to be on the list for this video. He'll probably be back in the next one. Number 82. We've got this album here. Eye in the Sky by the Alan Parsons Project. So I know Alan Parsons was like the producer for the engineer on Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. And so I heard this was a really good album and decided to check it out. And man, this made me want to check out all of his other albums. Alan Parsons Project, all of their albums are concept albums. Like, they don't all tell stories, but they're all kind of about a specific theme. And the theme on this album is kind of like surveillance. The Alan Parsons Project uses a lot of orchestra that's provided by, what's the name of the guy? I'm trying to find the name of the guy who did it. It's Powell, something Powell, I think is his last name. He does the orchestrations for this album. But the fact that they're all concept albums and that they use orchestrations a lot, and it just sounds amazing because it was produced by Alan Parsons, who did Dark Side of the Moon. This makes this album amazing. Side 1, Sirius, the instrumental. You probably know that as the Chicago Bulls intro music, but it sets the tone of the album perfectly. Eye in the Sky, the song is amazing. I love the pulsing keyboard and guitar on that. Children of the Moon is really cool. Gemini. Silence and I is like a kind of a mini epic with this really cool orchestra interlude. You're Gonna Get Your Fingers Burned is a fun pop song. I love Psychobabble. That one's cool. Step by Step. And then it closes with Old and Wise, which is sung by Colin Blunstone from the Zombies, actually. What's interesting about the Alan Parsons Project is that Alan Parsons writes, and his partner Eric Wolfson, they write the songs, but they get a different singer to sing each song. Like, the band is the same, but they get a different singer for each song. So Eric Wolfson, the co-writer, he sings some of the songs, and there's all these other people they get that sing the different songs, they're guest vocalists. So that makes this album really cool. It's kind of, you don't know what you're going to get whenever you listen to each song. Really great album. Bowie's best glam rock album. Either that or Ziggy Stardust. I think I have Ziggy Stardust later up on the list. Yeah, it did. I haven't listened to it as much. I still love the album, but like it had to be on the list. I get that. Okay. Now we're going to get to number 81. Last album on our list for today. And that's The Crime of the Century by Supertramp. Really cool album. If you've never listened to Supertramp, really underrated. I've got another album by them. It's going to be a lot higher up on the list. This is my second favorite album by them. Man, such great musicianship on their albums. I love their two lead singers' voices, Roger Hodgson and Rick Davies. Both great piano players too. Starts with School, which is a really moody song. I really like it. You're Bloody Well Right has such an amazing electric keyboard intro. Hide in Your Shell is amazing. Asylum, also amazing. Dreamer, great electric piano on that too. What I love about Supertramp is their electric piano. Rudy, Dreamer, if everyone was listening, Crime of the Century. Yeah, such an amazing album. If you've never heard this album, have a listen to it. It's kind of a half concept album, I guess. Like all of the songs are kind of about isolation, but very good. My favorites, I'm probably gonna have to go with Bloody Well Right as the best song, and then I didn't say what my favorite song on this one was. Eye in the Sky, and just in case I didn't for this one, it's Jane Janey. So yes, to recap, number 81 was Crime of the Century. 82, Eye in the Sky. 83, Aladdin Sane. 84, Beggar's Banquet. 85, Highway 61. 86, Queen 2. 87, Band on the Run. 88, Low. 89, Let's Dance. And 90, Genesis. So we will see you next time whenever we go through the 70s. Crime of the Century just turned 50. Cool. There are some amazing songs on there. Anyway, we will see you guys next time. Thank you for joining. Just remember that music is art and art is expression. See you next time.